covered, and now white is winning? Yes. a5 is played, rook e1 check, king d4, queen f3, and there is mate threatened. Queen to e3 is threatened, king d5, and rook d1 is mate. Also, rook e4 and queen c3, and ladder mate in the middle of the board. So it's over. But this doesn't even do it any justice. This doesn't even, I mean, a4 being the winning move is blasphemous, but the next thing is even more just sensational. So the king runs to c5, right? If black gets a move, black just takes and runs away. That's what black wants. Black desperately needs to regain some control of the squares, which is why after king c5, you play queen e3 check and king b4. You are just a second away from winning the game here. A second. You're winning. And guess what? You have to take the knight, obviously. I hope that part is self-explanatory. If you don't take the knight, then after king a3, you actually lose so much time. Your queen gets locked in jail. Look at this. Look at this. Your queen is locked. You try to save the queen, but now this queen activates, and you can't mate the king. You don't have any way to do it. You got to take the knight, but that's easy. And now the king goes to a3. Now how do we win? How do we win this position? The king has no moves. If the rook was here, it'd be game over. If you could play self-capture, actually, you would get checked. That would be a bad move. So how do you win the game? Only one move. Again, Stockfish finds the only move. How do you, I mean, you need to, like, maybe rook e4. So, nope. The only move in the position after king a3 is to bring the queen back with the threat. What is the threat? If you take the pawn, what is the threat? Okay, black plays e5. Black trying to secure central control. And the reason why black is not trying to play, like, a queen move is the threat is queen c1 here and king a2. This is the money move because you threaten a checkmate. The king runs to c5, only to get battered the opposite direction, and now the king protects the re-entry, and you win. So queen e3, e5, but now, if you play queen c1 immediately, this no longer works, because this, and I use my e-pawn as a shield! What is, so e5 is trying to use the king as a shield. This is alien level chess, alien. So how does white win now? Well, you need to stop the run, right? You need to stop the run back to the position. So you play rook d1. Rook to d1. And now this stops the getaway, but also sets up the following idea. It sets up an idea, for example, queen c7, this is how white wins. Check here, king a2, this is mate, the king runs, check the other way, and now if this, you sacrifice the rook! Pawn takes, queen takes. And the king is mated. The idea of rook d1 is to prevent the escape, but also offer up the rook as a tribute to win the game down 2 rooks with a checkmate. That's the point. Of course, the rook doesn't have to be taken, but then you win slowly by shuffling your pieces, and then there's a mate, rook c3, threatening rook c4, etc. And almost as a perfect symphony, queen f7 to stop that is met with pawn takes queen. Rook d1. Black goes here, has to sacrifice the queen, d5, queen c3, white cleans up, gives a check, takes it with a like this, king b2, and ends the game with pawn c3,